Okay, ang tagal. 2:25 na.
Okay na po, sir.
Okay na. Recording na ba?
Opo, sir.
Opo.
Umiikot pa lang kasi sa akin. Sige, okay. So, kung tumunog na sa inyo, then go. So, ayun, ngayon pala tumunog sa akin. Ayan. So, recording. Ayan. So, ganda magbasa na. So, for example, we have the sample mean. It is denoted by X bar. While the sample standard deviation is denoted by small letter s. When we are doing or when we are solving anything from sample, we are talking about statistics. Okay? Next, the population mean is denoted by Greek letter mu, while the population standard deviation is denoted by sigma. When we are talking about population or solving anything about population, that is parameter. We can also include the we can also include the variance now. So therefore, we can say if we have a small letter s for our sample, so therefore we have s squared for the variance. Kasi di ba nga, characteristic lang naman ni variance is the square of the standard deviation. Nakuha po? Now next, the sigma for the variance of the population, that is the sigma squared, no? Ayan. On its contrary, if inuna mong kunin si variance, kunin lang si square root, you will have the standard deviation. Kunin lang si square root, you will have the sigma. Ayan. Kung inuna mo si variance, pero kung inuna mo si standard deviation, square mo si standard deviation, you will have the variance. Okay? So next, ayan. Suppose that x sub 1, x sub 2 until x sub n is a random sample. A statistic is a random variable that is a function of x sub 1 until x sub n. So the sample mean is a random variable that is a function of this notation. Thus, it is a statistic. So the formula for the sample mean is given by x bar is equal to the summation of x sub I from I is equal to 1 until it reach n all over n. So what does it mean? Dito pa lang nakikita mo na agad na sample to. Bakit? Kasi it has a sample size, no? Laging naka-sample size yung formula natin, no? Ayun po. So meaning to say, what we're going to do here is to ipag-add natin because we have summation eh. Ipag-add daw natin x sub 1, x sub 2, x sub n, x sub something until it reach the n. Ibig sabihin kung ilan yung hangganan niyan, ipag-add natin and di-divide natin yan to the total number of elements or the sample size. I'm sorry. No. Ayun. So the variance is a random variable that is also a function of x sub 1, x sub 2, and x sub n. It is also a statistic. So the formula for the sample variance, and it is denoted by s squared, is given by s squared is equal to the summation of the square difference of the random variable and the sample mean until from I is equal to 1 until it reach n all over n minus 1. Para nandun pa rin tayo sa formula natin na expected value na e of x minus d e of x squared minus d square of e of x. Ayun pa rin yan. Dito pa rin tayo umiikot, no? Pero may dinagdag lang tayo ng konti. Nag-tweak lang tayo ng konti, no? So, let us define another remark. So, as a random variable, eto, medyo logical to guys ha. So, please take a look here. As a random variable, the statistic is a function. It is function because it has a probability, di ba? On the probability distribution table. So it depends on the outcome of the random experiment. In this case, random experiment is drawing as of a sample that is pertaining to combination, and we are drawing a sample from a population. Picking a number, aside from drawing, it is also a picking a number or picking something from a population. So the value of a statistic will then vary from sample to sample. So we can only determine the realized value of a statistic once we have actually selected our sample. And after selecting those sample, we applied any statistical treatment. But it is impossible to predict with certainty what is the real value of the statistic, no? So we must solve it para makuha natin yung discrete answer. So, since statistic is a random variable, then, syempre, meron siyang probability distribution. Nakakasunod po? So, this probability distribution is what we call the sampling distribution. Kapag kinukuha natin ang probability distribution ng sample or ng statistic, di ba, statistic is equal to what? That is always pertaining to samples, di ba? The measurable number or the computable number in a sample, that is statistic. So, kung ang statistic natin, ang kadalasan na given ay random variable lang or we quantify things, for example, syempre meron siyang probability distribution. And that probability distribution in statistic is what we call sampling distribution. Nakuha? Kasi di ba dati probability distribution lang yung sabi natin diyan, di ba? As a whole. So when we are talking about samplings or statistic, that is sampling distribution. Next. So the probability distribution function of statistic is called the sampling distribution, like what I've said earlier. If the statistic is a discrete random variable, if it is discrete now, countable, then its sampling distribution is what we call the probability mass function, the PMF. Diba? Random variable pertaining to probability mass function. So dagdagan lang natin ng konti. If it is discrete, that is probability mass function or PMF. While if the statistic is a random variable but a continuous, then its sampling distribution is probability density function. That is the PDF. Okay? Discrete random variable of statistics, that is PMF, probability mass function. When we say random variable, it is continuous of a statistic, that is probability density function or the PDF. No, wag malilito density PDF, mass PMF. Ayan, baka gawin nyo kasi diyan probability distribution function. Walang ganon. Mm. I mean, that is for general name, pero ang PDF is pertaining to probability density. Okay po. So, next. So, the standard deviation of a sampling distribution is called the standard error of the statistic. O, dagdag nyo sa ano nyo sa definition of terms nyo. Standard error is the standard deviation of sampling or standard deviation of statistics. Okay? Standard error. It tells us the extent to which we expect the values of the statistic to vary from different possible. So what does it mean? So for example, if we have low standard error, ibig sabihin mas reliable ang data natin or mas dikit-dikit kasi malapit sa mean. Nakuha po? While if we have larger standard deviation, mas kalat, mas spread, and mas malaki yung standard error natin. Mas malaki yung error ng ating possible experiment. Nagets niyo yung yung purpose ni SD rito? Ayun. To find if there must be an error, if there must be a kung hindi man ganun ka-reliable ang data natin, something like that, no? So, the probability distribution of the sample mean is called the sampling distribution of the mean. So, ayun na nga. If we are getting the probability distribution of a sample mean, we called it a sampling distribution of the mean. Okay? Ayan. Dugtong-dugtong lang to. Kaya sabi ko, medyo logical siya. So, a sampling distribution of a statistic depends on the various factors. So, our sampling distribution may vary in these three factors, no? The first one is the sample size. For example, though we have 4 populations, for example, sometimes we're looking for 2 sample size, 3 sample size. So depending on the sample size, may affect the probability distribution of that sampling, of that sample. Okay po. So method of choosing the random sample. If it is continuous or discrete, ayan, it may vary the sampling distribution. And also, syempre, it also vary the population under the study. Yung kabuuan na pinangkukunan natin ng data. So we need to consider these factors whenever we evaluate the performance of a statistic that will be used in making an inferences or judgment of our computation. Ayun po. So next, standard deviation of the sampling distribution is called, ito, naulit lang to. So there's no need to repeat it. Ito, if we have a small standard error, it indicates that the computed values of our statistic in different samples generated are close to and one another, and it is close to our mean. So that even if we know that the value of a statistic varies from one sample to another, a small standard error or small standard deviation, it gives us an assurance that at least the variation among their values is not too large. So a small standard error assures us that the different realized values of a statistic under repeated sampling are very close to the average value or to the mean of the statistic. Ayun po. Ayan lang yung purpose ng standard error or standard deviation. We use standard error only in sampling distribution or statistics. Okay po? Pero kapag population ng kinocompute natin or parameters, that is standard deviation itself. No? Or standard deviation of population. Pwede rin ganun. Ayun. Next. So, suppose that we have this probability mass function. This is PMF, di ba? Bakit? Kasi it is a random variable na meron tayong discrete number. Kaya ako nasabing PMF siya. Pero kung yan ay decimal or something, yung ating mga random variable, or it is measurement, that is PDF na, hindi na PMF. Okay po? Probability mass function for this one. So, binigay ko lang yung probability ng 0, ng 1, 2, and 3. We have 1/4, di ba? So, suppose that will be our example for this one. Yes, who's that? Jonard, ano po yan?
Napindot lang sir, sorry.
Napindot. Okay. Parang si Ate Jeline, no? Na pressure kanina nung napindot. Okay, so we're going to solve for the E of X. Paano natin kinukuha yun? So, pwede natin gawin is get the sum of the product. We have the three halves and the variance is like this. Pero pwede natin ulit i-apply yung ginawa natin last time. Di ba gumawa tayo ng table? Naalala nyo yan? So, pwede natin gawin, we have X. Lagay si P of X dito. Lagay tayo rito. Dito. Lagay natin si X squared dito. Lagay natin si X times the P of X. And also, we include the X squared times P of X. Tama na ba? Tama na yan. So, lagay natin yung random variable natin. Ano ba yung X natin? Yung X natin ay ito. So, we have the 0, the 1, the 2, the 3. Lagyan nga natin ng maayos na separation. Ayan. Separate natin ng maayos. Separate para tapat-tapat. Di tayo mahirapan mag-multiply, di ba? Next, we're going to write the P of X. Our P of X for 0 is 1/4. Ito po yun ha. Kinokopya ko lang. Iniiba ko lang yung orientation natin. Transpose ko lang siya into sideward, no? 1/4, 1/4. They are all 1/4 actually. And after that, the X squared. Anyone, square the X. All of the X. Yamuta. Babawi ka, di ba? Okay, bawi na. What is the square of 0, the square of 1, the square of 2, the square of 3? Ayan. Easy lang yan. Kaya yan ni Christine. Nandiyan ka ba, Christine? Wala. Nakakalungkot. Sir, wait. Mag-open. Ayaw mag-open. Sige, si Jonard na lang daw. Jonard.
Ano ba Latin? Zero, times zero is 0. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 3 is 9.
Very good. Thank you so much, Jonard. No? Thank you naman dyan, Tin. Sinaloan ni Jonard. No? Next, we have the X times P of X. And then after getting the X times P of X, that is the sum. That is the sum of the product, di ba? We will get the expected value or the E of X. Ayan, thank you daw. Okay, Rafa. Ay, May calculator ba, Rafa? Wala. Sinong may calculator dyan? Wala. Ayan, balik pa ako, sir. Nakangiti si Joner. Okay, si ano na lang. Santo Domingo. Santo Domingo, open your mic, Michael.
Doon po sa una, 0. Tapos yung 1, 1.25. Yung sa dalawa pa, di ko pa alam.
Okay. Actually, mas madali kung gagawin mo rito, fraction na lang. Di ba, dali lang kasi pare-paras naman sila 1/4 eh.
Tapos
Try
sunod,
natin.
2.25.
Gawin na lang natin to as 1/4. Kasi ito ay 2/4 ba? Bakit 2.25?
9/4 po.
Nasa ano ka na? Nasa x squared times p of x ka na. Ano pa lang tayo? X times p of x. Sige, ako na muna rito. Ikaw na sa x squared times p of x. Ito ay 3/4. Fraction na lang. Mas maganda. Kasi ito yun, di ba? Ito, si x times p of x. Next naman tayo, we have the x squared times p of x. Ito naman, let me use blue. Ito, okay, Santo Domingo. Ulit tayo. Okay, una ay 0. Pangalawa ay? Michael. Nagtampo na si Michael. Nagtampo ata si Michael. Michael, open your mic. Nasaan ka na?
1/4, sir?
1/4. Very good. 1 times 1/4 is 1/4. How about 4 times 1/4?
1.
1 or 4/4. Pwede natin yan nilagay or 1. And then the last one is 9 times 1/4, di ba? That is 9/4. Ano yung decimal niyan? So yung kanina, 2.25 ba?
Opo.
Ayan, 2.25. Thank you so much. So that we have this, ipag-add lang natin, that will be the E of x. Ito yon. 1/4 plus 2/4 plus 3/4. That is 3 halves. Kasi 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 3 is 4, plus 3 is 6 pala. So 6/4 is 3 halves. Diba? So E of x is equal to 3 halves. Where we all know that the E of x based on the previous lesson, that is also the mu. Diba? So the population mean is equal to 3 halves. Kunin na agad natin yung, ano ang formula ng variance natin ulit? Ang variance natin ay var of x, that is the standard deviation, that is the sigma square. The formula for that is E of x squared multiplied, yan, and then minus natin sa square of E of x. Ayan. So, mas better kunin natin tong E of x squared or the mu squared. Ayan din yun, parehas lang yun. So, we're going to get the E of x squared and the square of E of x, my bad. The square of E of x, that is 3 halves squared. The answer for here is 9/4. Tama ba ako? 9/4. So, box natin to. Gamit tayo ng ibang kulay para mas ma-highlight. Ayan. So, check na natin to kasi okay na, di ba? Next, ipag-add natin to and that will be our E of x squared na. Ipag-add natin the E of x squared. So, ipag-add 1/4 plus 4/4 plus 9/4. Anong sagot? Or what? Simplify. What is the simplified value of 14/4? Tama ba ako? 14/4? Seb, anong sagot?
7/2 po.
Very good. So we have 7/2 for our E of x squared. So we have the basic elements needed in solving the variance. Diba? Ayan. We have the basic elements and ayun, simplify lang natin, ilagay lang natin dito that the E of x is equal to 3 halves. Ayan, lagay lang natin dito yung mga gagamitin natin. Ang ating E of x squared ay square of E of x equals 9/4. Ito naman, the E of x squared naman the e of x squared is equal to 9 over 4. Parang mali ako. 7 over 2. Tama lang. Ayun. Kinabahan lang si sir ng konti. 7 over 4. Ayan. So, we can now answer for the variance. What will be our variance here? It is equal to the e of x squared, that is the 7 over 4. 7 over 2, not 4, sir. Ayan, ba't walang tumatama sa akin? Nalulungkot naman ako. Ayan. 7 over 2 minus the square of e of x, which is 9 over 4. Note that our answer here must be positive kasi mas malaki 7 halves kaysa kay 9 over 4, no? A half of 7 and a quarter of 9. That's it, no? What will be the answer here? Decimal and fraction ang gusto ko. Dalawa. Sebastian.
5 over 4 po, saka 1.25.
Very good. 5 over 4 or 1.25. Ganun din ba ang nakuha ng iba? Okay, so tingnan natin kung tama yung labas. 3 halves, very good. And then, sagot ay 5 over 4. Ayun, nakalagay na rito. Ayan. So, ganito mag-solve for getting the population. Note that we are only in parameters pa lang, ha? Kasi population pa lang ito eh. At ang sinulve pa lang natin itong 0, 1, 2, and 3. Di ba po? And then given the probability of that, we are doing the parameter only. We get the population mean, the population variance. How about the population standard deviation? Anong sagot dito? Square root of the variance. The answer is square root of 5 over 4 or square root of 1.25. Anong lalabas dito? SD natin. Ano yun, Seb? Calculator mo?
1.11 po.
1.11. 1.11. Okay. So, ayun. Ayan lang siya. So, let's try naman the sample. How about in solving sample? Actually, halos parehas lang ng ginagawa. Pero, kailangan makapag-construct muna tayo ng sampling distribution table natin before tayo magsagot, before natin gawin tong part na to. Ano nga hanapin? Hanapin muna tong probability mass function ng ating sampling or the samples. So, let's try. So, suppose that we still have 4 numbers and that numbers are the 0, 1, 2, and 3. So, we're going to list all the possible sample of size 2 with replacement. So, when we say with replacement, guys, we're going to include the numbers in repetition. So, we must include the 0, 0, the 0, 0, the 1, 1, the 2, 2, the 3, 3. Ayun po, when we say with replacement. Nauulit po yung number. When we say without replacement, this number, ito, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, and 3, 3, tatanggalin natin. Hindi sila kasama. Nakuha po? Kapag ganito lang ang gagawin, kapag with replacement, without replacement, gawin nyo lang, easy lang, 4 times 4, that is 16 outcomes po. So, next. So, in getting the sample mean, ayan po, note that we are finding the x bar, ha? X bar. So, the 0, 0, we have 0. The 0, 1, 0 plus 1 over 2, that is 0.5. 0 plus 2, that is 2 over 2, that is 1. 1 plus 3 is equal to 4 divided by 2, that is 2. So on and so forth until we reach 3 plus 3, that is 6 over 2. The answer is 3. Nakuha kung paano nag-come up sa ganitong sagot? That is only the the sample mean of the samples or the mean of the samples. So hindi pa tayo tapos. Frequency distribution table naman or the PMF. Okay po? Hanapin natin probability ng mga yan. So, the 0 is 1 over 16. Ibig sabihin, isang beses lang siya lumabas dun sa mean natin. So on and so forth until this. Note that I am telling you that it is with replacement, ha? Kasi there will be an easier version to solve for without replacement and with replacement. tuturo ko mamaya, no? Hindi ko na ipapahirapan. Pero ngayon, ipapakita ko muna yung may hirap na way. Siyempre, yung ginagawa natin. We're going to solve for the E of X bar to the expected value. So, kunin lang yan. Pwede natin gawin ulit yung table natin. Gawin natin until variance, ha? Para pahirapan ko kayo. Ayan, after looking for the sampling distribution of the sample mean or the probability mass function of the sample mean, lagay natin yung tinuro ko. We have the X, the P of X, the X squared, the X times P of X, the X squared times P of X. Ayan. So, mabilisan lang, no? Try natin. We have the 0 for our X, the 0.5, the 1, and 1.5, the 2, the 2.5, haba pala, and the 3. Okay, try pa rin natin kahit mahaba. So, tapat-tapat lang, 0, that is 1 over 16. Let me use different color, no? That is 2 over 16, 3 over 16, 1.5 is 4 over 16. The 2 is 3 over 16. Correct me if I'm wrong, ha? Baka naduduling din ako, ah. 2.5, that is 2 over 16. And the 3 is 1 over 16. The X squared is 0. The 0.5 is what? Anyone nga can help me? Sino may calculator dyan? Help si sir. Jude, may calcio ba? May calcio ba, Jude? Oh, wala ata. Sino may calcio dyan? Sige, Jude. Okay, square natin. 0.5 is what? Square of 0.5 is that 0.25? Ayan. Jude, help mo ako. Pindot ka sa calcio mo. Square of 1 is 1. 1.5 is squared. Ano sagot?
Wala po. 1.5.
Square.
Ano po, sir?
1.5 is square.
Nag-ano ko sa akin, sir. Di kita marinig.
Naglalag ako. Sa iba na lang. Seb, ikaw na lang. Ikaw may calcio eh.
2.25 po.
2.25. The 2 is 4. Ayun. The 2.5 is what?
6.25.
6.25. And then the 3 is what? 9. Ayan. So, continue lang natin x times p of x. So, ito muna. This one is 0. 0.5 times 2 out of 16. What is the answer here? Let's use 4 decimal places here. Anong lumabas? Sige na, set tapusin natin to. Para ikaw lang may calculate. O 0.5 times 2 over 16. Anong sagot? 4 decimal place.
0.0625 po.
How about 1? That is 3 over 16 in decimal. Ano to?
Sana po, sir.
3 divided by 16. 0.18, ano yan? 1875 ba? Tama ba ako?
0.1875.
1.5 times 4 over 16, anong sagot?
0.375.
Very good. So 0.375. 2 times 3 over 16, that is 6 over 16. Rest lang din ba? 0.375 din ba to? Tama? Tama ba ako? Okay, next. 2.5 times 2 over 16.
0.3125.
And 3125. And the last one is 1 over 6 is what? 3 over 6 pala. That is 0.5. Tama ba ako dito? Ayan. So we can now get for the expected value for this, no? Actually, mas, ayun, ito. Ipag-add natin anong magiging sagot dito. E of X bar. Anong sagot? 4 decimal place tayo lagi dito. Mali pala. Nalilito ka? Nalilito na ako. Ang ginawa lang natin, ano rito, Jude, pinag-multiply lang natin ang P at saka yung X. Ayan, X bar pala. X bar yan ha. Tandaan nyo, X bar, X bar. X bar, X bar, X bar. Kasi sample mean yan eh. Pinag-multiply natin kasi nga X times P of X, di ba? 0 times 1 over 16. 0.5 times 2 over 16. 1 times 3 over 16. Ayun lang ginawa natin. Umulit lang tayo sa dating proseso. Anong lumabas dito nung pinag-add natin? Add. Ano lumabas? Seb.
1.8125 po.
1.8125. Maxine, anong lumabas sa'yo?
May tatanong lang po. Mali po ata yung yung 3 times 1 over 16.
1 over 16, not 1.5. Not 1, mali nga. Anong tamang sagot dyan, Max?
0.1875.
And then what will be the expected value of that random variable? Anong total, anong sum niyan? $0.125? Tama ba ako? O 1875? Ano ba? Ako, sir. 1875 ba, guys? I-add nyo ulit. Anong magiging sagot? Hello, Scaldio. Nakakalungkot. Maxine, anong sagot? 1.5? 187.5?
1.5 po.
1.5. Ayun, very good. So, actually, you don't have time na, di ba? Kasi 2:57 na. Pero, alam niyo naman na kung paano kunin to, di ba? X squared times P of X. Ipag-multiply niyo lang tong X squared tsaka P of X, tas tapat-tapat lang. And then, ipag-add niyo yan. Yun na yung magiging sagot natin. After makuha niyan, square natin to. Tapos, makakuha natin yung variance niyan, di ba? So, ganun lang siya. So, ayan. So, the answer is 3 over 2 or 1.5. So, tama tayo dito. Mas better kapag decimal lang gagamitin nyo for decimal place, ha? So, hindi ko na ipapakita on solving the variance kasi alam niyo naman na yung way. Bakit, sir? Kasi may another way ako to solve that, no? Aside from doing it na napakahaba at napakatagal, pwede na pala tayong mag-stick to population pala. So, let's proceed to another example. Lastly, suppose that we still have 4 numbers pero without replacement naman. So, you're not going to include the 0, 0, the 1, 1, the 2, 2, and 3, 3 if it is without replacement. Can you get it? Our population is still the 0, 1, 2, 3. Huh? That is a sample size. That is a population size of 4. Okay. So from doing that, we're going to solve for the population mean or the sample mean of without replacement. I'm sorry. Sample mean of without replacement. D of X is equal to 3 hubs also. Kita nyo? 3 hubs sa population mean, 3 hubs sa sample mean, 3 hubs din sa sample mean ng without replacement. Halos pare-parehas lang, di ba? So knowing that this, our variance for this is 5 over 12. 5 over 12 if it is without replacement. So I'm gonna summarize it. Tapos na ako. I'm gonna summarize it now. So in summary, the original random variable for our population or parameter, as you can see, if we're going to observe the E of X or the population mean or the mu, that is 3 hubs. While for our sample size, the mean of the sample size is also 3 halves for with replacement, and also the sample size of 2 without replacement is equal to 3 halves. So we can conclude that the population mean is also equal to the sample mean. Can you get it? Okay, so how about what have you observed in variance? What have you observed in variance? Our variance for our parameters is 5 over 4. I mean, nagtaas ng kamay. Sino yan? Okay, Seb. Ano na-observe mo?
Nung nag-increase po yung denominator ng interval na 4.
Kung nag-increase siya ng number sa denominator, is it increasing or decreasing?
Increasing po.
Decreasing. Kasi fraction yan eh. Pag mas malaki fraction, di ba mas maliit? So decreasing, no? It is increasing by 4, but all in all, it is decreasing, di ba? Ayun, yun lang yan. So, there's a technique that you're going to do. Ang gagawin niyo lang, kunin niyo na yung variance at expected value ng ating parameter. Kunin niyo na, pero wag niyo nang ulitin pa yung ginawa niyo sa sample. Wag niyo na ulitin. Paano yan, sir? So here we go. So we can say that the E of X bar, meaning to say the expected value of our sample, is equal to the mu. Kasi nga, pare-pala silang 3 halves. But the variance is like this. Variance of the sample. Ito ay with replacement, guys. With replacement. So the formula for that is the variance over n. So meaning to say, what is our variance ba based on our table? Our variance is 5 over 4 as we compute earlier, di ba? That is the value of variance. So all we need to do is to get the variance over the sample size n. Note that it is small letter n, not capital letter n. Kapag capital letter n yan, dapat 4 yan. Kasi ang ating population size is 4. So 5 over 4 over 2, we have 5 over 8 for the variance of with replacement. Diba? There's no need to complete the table of x times p of x times x squared. Napakahaba, diba? Ginawa na natin sa population, uulitin pa natin sa statistic, diba? Ganun yun. May shorter version pala. Shortest version, I mean. Ito yung pinaka maikli, no? Kamot-kamot pa. Sir, ba't tinuro yung mahaba? At least alam niyo kung saan nanggaling, di ba? At least alam niyo may ganong solving part. Next. I think 3 minutes talking na to. How about if it is without replacement? If it is without replacement, we have another formula. Whether it is with replacement or without replacement, the population mean is also equal to the sample mean. Yun. Kung ito ay 3 halves sa population mean, 3 halves din ng ating sample mean. Nakuha? So, for computing for the variance without replacement, all we need to do is to get, ito ay formula ng ano to, ng with replacement yan, di ba? Dadagdagan lang natin ng konti. So, the variance over the sample size n multiplied by the difference of the population size and sample size all over the population size minus 1. So, ito yon. Ang ating variance, population variance, is equal to 5 over 4. Our n is 2. That is the sample size of 2. Our capital letter N, or the population size, is 4 minus by the small letter n, which is 2. So we have 4 minus 2. And n minus 1 is 4 minus 1. So that we have, here we all know the answer here is 5 over 8, diba? Nanggaling yan dito. Ito yun, no? Kaya 5 over 8 yan. So 5 over 8 multiplied by, what is 4 minus 2? That is 2. 4 minus 1 is 3. By multiplying it, we have 10. 8 times 3 is 24. Simplify it, we have 5 over 12. Okay po. Huwag nang pahirapan ng sarili. Once you computed the population mean, the population standard deviation, the population variance, go for this formula and then you will have the sample variance and the sample variance of with replacement and the sample variance of without replacement. Always check if the given is with or without replacement, ha? Para alam nyo kung anong formula ang i-apply natin. Nakuha po. Though the explanation for this one is quite short, I'm gonna record, it is recorded, I mean, I'm gonna edit na lang para kung may mga hindi magandang salitang nabanggit si sir, ay nakat ko, di ba? Tapos, post nyo na lang kapag ano, biro lang, no? Baka gamitin sa atin kasi na gamitin sa ating kapangyarihan yan yung mga masamang salitang nabanggit ka, no? Tapos gawing spliced video, no? Kagaya ng ginagawa ng politiko. Charot. Ayun. So, if you don't have any question, clarification, just review or rewatch the recording. And then, yun na yun. So, everyone, please open your camera. Nag-overtime si sir, I'm sorry. Sino ba next teacher nyo?
Ito lang, sir.
Circuit ba? Next, ano nyo?
Circuit po.
Sabihin nyo, sorry. Nagnakaw ako. At least ako, aminado. Yung iba, Tumatakbo pa. Charot lang. Ayun, okay. Tingin na sa camera. Open ang camera. Okay. So, ayos na kami naka-clear. Going to smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. If 18 na kayo, bumoto kayo ng tama. Mag-research kayo. Please lang. Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye po.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye po. Wala magkaba. Ay, kapal pala, kapal. Walang kaso, okay lang yan. Hindi naman natin inaasahan yung mga ganung bagay at nangyayari yun sa bahay-bahay talaga, no? Okay lang yun.
Hindi po, sir. Salamat.
Wala nga naman. Bye!